Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan, and if you didn't know, now you know. Welcome back to the channel. It's great to have all of you here, but today we need to talk about Bitcoin because the price of Bitcoin is getting ready to explode. Now, this probably doesn't come as a surprise to most of you because Bitcoin has been extremely volatile, especially over the last month or two. But everything that Bitcoin has been doing has led us to the point that we're at right now, which is finally the decision time for Bitcoin. Is it time to see this permanent bear market, or rather a long-term bear market, or is this just going to be a continuation of the bull market that we've seen for the last 12, 13, 14 months? And that's exactly kind of what we're at right now, and it's the decision time for Bitcoin. So if that sounds interesting, I'll make sure you guys stick around for the entire length of the video, as there will be important information discussed the entire way through. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this one. Now, as we go back to the Bitcoin chart here, Bitcoin has been consolidating inside of this bearish pennant. Now, the reason that I say that this is a bearish pennant is because on top here, we see a very common reversal strategy for macro events, which is called head and shoulders. And I really don't like using head and shoulders a lot, but I think that this is one of the most clear-cut head and shoulders that I've seen in a very, very long time. And again, you usually only see a head and shoulders when it's the top of a trend, or an inverse head and shoulders when it's the bottom of the trend. Now, the way that this works is that we have the neckline, again, right down here. It's kind of the initial support where we are seeing the support. We have the left shoulder being shorter than the head. We have the head being shorter or taller than the shoulders, and then the right shoulder being pretty equal to the left shoulder. Of course, the dump through the floor, seeing what we have over here is pretty self-explanatory. Now, that getting beside the point, that's kind of the historical analysis. The reason that this is a bearish pennant behind what we're looking at in our current situation is because we broke down and then formed the pennant. Usually when you have a pennant forming, it favors in the direction that the trend has immediately came from. So since this is an immediate breakdown, then the pennant forming, this would be classified as a bear flag. We can see, if we zoom in, I want to zoom in a little bit more so that we can really kind of see this guy. We can see that the initial resistance was touched once, twice, you could argue 3, 4, 5 times. And on the support side of things, we can see that it was immediately touched 1, 2, 3 times now, with the 50 EMA being used as a very clear sign of resistance, at least for the time being over in here. Now, this is not what any bull wants to see, but I think that it's important to show this information because if we have a measured move out of this pennant, and if Bitcoin wants to actually follow the trend here from where it initially legged down at, this would mean that Bitcoin would be breaking $30,000, which is its previous low over here. This is a pretty substantial support too, because if this breaks, I think Bitcoin's immediately going to the mid-20s, if not lower than that, which a lot of people have thought would be impossible for Bitcoin. A lot of people said that we would never see those prices on Bitcoin again. Maybe we're going back to the previous all-time high from 2017, from really the later part of 2017, using that 20K area as support, which is still pretty far down. Because, I mean, if we want to measure that out from where we're at right now, that's still going to be another 43, 44% down to the downside of Bitcoin, which I'm sure a lot of people don't want to see after everything else that has happened. You know, lots of liquidations. However, if we are going to continue to see this happen, if this does break down, immediately I really see kind of Bitcoin going down to probably 29, 30K, testing the support level. If it can't hold, immediately breaking and probably going straight to 26 to 24,000, somewhere in that range. Now, ideally, I do think that we would see some support in there. It's very possible that we don't and we just continue to tank. But that's kind of my thoughts as to where we're at on Bitcoin right now. Now, usually I record these videos the night before and I upload them the next day. This will be an exception because I think that this is a very important piece of information. Again, none of this is meant to be taken as legal, financial, or tax advice in any way. However, I do think that this is a very current event and that this could be gone tomorrow. It could be gone a week from now, but I want to get this information out there as soon as possible. Now, with Bitcoin being in the current situation that is at right now, if we do break out to the upside of this, of course, we have to break out through a lot of layers of resistance. If Bitcoin wants to break and explode to the upside, it's going to have to test the 50 EMA. It's going to have to test the initial resistance, which will probably be at like 39 to 40,000, and then it has another set of resistance at 42, and then another set of resistance at 45. So there is a ton of resistance on Bitcoin to the upside right here, which again is something that the bulls don't want to see upon seeing a potential reversal pattern, or from what I see, a pretty obvious reversal pattern around $50,000 to $60,000, or really more around $60,000 to $65,000. So if really, I guess I think it's a matter of which way does Bitcoin want to explode here. If we look at the indicators like the MACD and the RSI, even on the 4-hour, we're seeing that Bitcoin should have had some pretty good bullish divergence here, even on the daily after all of this, and it's still really not going anywhere. I mean, for the dailies, MACD and RSI to already be tracing back upwards, it does look like this could be just another dead cat bounce before a further breakdown. Really no price movement coming in from here. Again, that's not to say that it can't happen, but I'm seeing weakness on the indicators, the oscillators, and of course the candle chart. And I really don't like the fact that there is this bear flag that is painting right below a breakdown from a head and shoulders. So if you are to compile all of this, volume is falling off. One could argue that that is because of the American holiday that we have going on right now, but I think that there is so much happening that just doesn't look bullish. If you are a bull, I'm very curious. Not in a demeaning way, but I'm curious as to what the bullish arguments at this area are, because I'm starting to see fewer and fewer as we go over here. Now, again, I understand that cryptocurrency doesn't always act rationally. Sometimes it's irrationally in your favor and sometimes not in your favor. But in this sense, I'm struggling to see where the real argument for the bulls are, because again, it just doesn't look good. Volume's falling off, indicators look bad, oscillators look bad, giant head and shoulders painted on a daily chart. After the breakdown from the head and shoulders, we're seeing a bearish pennant forming, a rejection from the 200 EMA, and a death cross on the 4-hour. It's just it's just an absolute barrage of bearish technical analysis coming at this. So I don't mean to be too bearish. I know people get upset when I get really pessimistic on Bitcoin, and I always have to say that these are some of the best buying opportunities, because while most people bought between $40, $50, $60, $65,000 for their cryptocurrency or for their Bitcoin, that is, in my opinion, the worst time to buy. And when there's blood in the water and Bitcoin's down 50, 60, 70, 80%, like those are the best times, in my opinion, to buy. That's where I accumulate the most, because it has the most potential for the upside. So obviously, I'm very long-term bullish on cryptocurrency. My name is literally The Crypto Analyst. I've been doing this for years, and I don't plan to stop anytime soon. And same with my accumulation. So that's just where we're at. Obviously, I'm long-term bullish on most cryptocurrencies and blockchain tech. I think that they have a very beautiful and innovative piece of technology behind them, and they're going to play a big part of the future. And I think we're already starting to see that. But this is just my technical analysis for all this. Take with this what you will. Again, none of this is legal, financial, or tax advice in any way. But that is it for this video. If you guys did like this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, as there will be a lot more content like this one coming out in the future. And if you want to stay updated, hit those buttons, and you definitely will. Turn on notifications. And I want to know your guys' thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Let me know the argument for which one that you are at, and I will see all of you very, very soon.